Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Anderson, president of the Rotary Club of Miami. We're very happy to have you here today. We have a very special guest who is Mayor Carlos Gimenez, who was recently reelected, and he's paying us the high privilege of speaking with us today. And I'm going to ask Tim Ryan, who's Director of Corrections for Miami-Dade County, to come forward to introduce our honorable mayor.
No clapping on that one. I didn't realize I was going to introduce Brad Pitt today, but I have a distinct honor and privilege to have someone here that has the real vision for Miami-Dade County over the next several years. Carlos Gimenez continues his lifelong commitment to public service after being elected to serve as Miami-Dade County's mayor on June 28th of 2011 and just reelected on August 14th. As the county's top elected official and chief administrator, Mayor Gimenez is responsible for the leadership and management of an organization, of which I am a member, with over 26,000 employees and an annual budget that exceeds $6 billion. Mayor Gimenez brings decades of invaluable public service experience, as well as set the clearly defined priorities that reflect both his governing philosophy and the challenges of the current economic environment. His priorities include, as mentioned, reducing taxes and shrinking the size of government, while preserving essential services such as public safety and the programs for seniors and children. Mayor Gimenez is also focused on stimulating job creation, expanding international trade, and attracting businesses and industries to diversify Miami-Dade County's economic base. But prior to his election, Mayor Gimenez served as Miami-Dade County Commissioner for 7 years, serving as the chairman of the Government Operations Committee as well as chairman of the Regional Transportation Group. From May 2000 to January of 2003, Mayor Gimenez was the manager of the City of Miami and was credited with helping to restore stability and integrity to that organization. As Miami's chief administrative officer, he was responsible for an annual budget of over $500 million, 4,000 employees, and obviously 400,000 residents. During his tenure as the city of Miami's top administrator, the city's bond rating went from the junk area to the investment grade area, and the tax rate there dropped to the lowest in 50 years. At the same time, Miami was able to establish more than $140 million in reserve. Prior to his appointment as a city manager, Mayor Gimenez spent 25 years with the Miami Fire Rescue Department, with the last 9 years as its chief. He was credited with modernizing that department and overseeing the largest reorganization in the department's history. He's a longtime Miami-Dade County resident. He's an alumnus of Christopher Columbus High School and earned his bachelor's degree at public administration at Barry University. He completed a program of senior executives at the Harvard University John F. Kay School of Government. Mayor Gimenez is married to Lourdes. They have 3 children, 2 grandchildren, and 1 director of corrections. It is with honor and privilege that I introduce my boss and the mayor of Miami-Dade County, Carlos Gimenez.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now I have to update that bio. I have 4 grandchildren. And Tim, I'm happy to see that you're out of jail. And you got here for lunch. I didn't know that they let you out for lunch, but it's good to see you here. Tim doesn't actually live in jail. He works there. He's the director of corrections for Miami-Dade and one of the best directors that we have. Truth is that we're very proud of the members of Miami-Dade County team, and I'm very proud that Tim is also stays involved and be part of the Rotary. Let me start by thanking all of you for inviting me to speak here today. I've actually had the opportunity over the years to address several Rotary chapters around the county, and all are different in their own way, and all attract folks from diverse professional backgrounds and walks of life. But it's clear that Rotaries everywhere are connected by a common thread. Rotary brings together individuals who share a strong and sincere desire to serve others and help folks in need, whether it's here in our hometown or halfway around the world. Your motto of service above self really says it all. Today I want to tell you a bit about who I am and what I did before becoming mayor, and Tim did a great job of actually kind of paraphrasing and all that. But and then I'll get you up to speed on what we're doing in the county today, what we have done in the county, and also what my vision for the future of Miami-Dade County is. Well, to start with, I didn't come from the world of politics, and becoming mayor isn't something that I really even dreamed of when I entered public service. I actually come from the world of public service and started my career as a firefighter in the city of Miami back in 1975. And that experience was tremendous and definitely different from the political world. As a firefighter, things are black and white. There's no gray area and no margin for error. You have to focus every ounce of your energy on what I did, and a lot of what I did was as a paramedic trying to save lives. You do that in a very straightforward way. In politics, on the other hand, there's a lot of more debate. There's much more questions. There's much more give and take than the world that I started in, which is a firefighter. At any rate, I worked my way up in the department, and I became its chief after 17 years. I was the youngest fire chief in the modern era, and also the first Hispanic fire chief in the city of Miami. And I held that post for 9 years, and as Tim has said, during that time we had the largest reorganization in that department's history, and we were able to save the city a lot of money, while at the same time we actually increased the service levels and the response times, and the decreased response times, which is better. The faster you get there, the better it is. And we were able to decrease response times, increase service levels, and reduce the cost of that department during my time as its chief. And so public service is definitely in my blood. So when I was asked to take the step from fire chief to city manager back in the year 2000, I could not say no. And to give you a little context, the city of Miami was in a very difficult time at the time financially. It was under a financial oversight board. It couldn't sell its bonds. The bonds are rated junk. We were coming out of a bankruptcy, and there was very little confidence in what was the city of Miami government. At the time that I actually took over as city manager, people were literally throwing bananas at City Hall, calling us a banana republic. And so, like I said, it had gotten so bad that the governor actually had to appoint a financial oversight board to take over the finances of the city of Miami. Anyway, to say that I was willing to jump onto a sinking ship, it wasn't really sinking, but it really wasn't that stable, would be entirely accurate. But we gradually turned things around, and when I left the job after 3 years as a city manager, the city's bond rating went from junk to investment grade. The oversight board had been dissolved by the governor. We had lowered the tax rate to the lowest levels in over 50 years. We also left the city with over $140 million in reserves. And when you realize that today the emergency contingency reserve in the county is about $60 to $70 million, and the county is 10 times larger than the city of Miami, you can understand what $140 million in reserves at that time meant to the city of Miami. It actually meant that the city of Miami was in its best financial condition in its history. And so I retired in 2003, and after a 28-year career with the city of Miami, I was still a little bit hungry for public service, and so I ran for Miami-Dade County Commissioner. And I won that position in 2004, and I served in there until 2011, until last year. As a commissioner, I was a lot of times the lone voice of dissent in a lot of projects. And I know that there is a lot of you may be going to the Marlins Stadium, which is a beautiful facility, but actually I was one of the main opponents to the public financing of the Gimenez Stadium. I'm not against the stadium per se. I was just against that deal. That deal just wasn't a good deal. And the financing of that deal, the amount of money it's taken from the public treasury, from our convention development tax, was way too much. And things are starting to come out that maybe the Marlins should have put in a lot more into that stadium than what they actually did. And so I was the voice of opposition. Even though the stadium is up and running, which I think it's a beautiful stadium, please go ahead and go take part in it. Now that it's up, the best thing we can do is actually support it and make it a success. A lot of the residents, though, agreed with what I was saying, and that sentiment, and it became pretty clear in 2011 that things were going to change. We had the largest recall in the history of the United States in terms of local government, and the mayor and a commissioner was recalled, and there was a special election, and I ran for that position last year. I was considered a long shot. Not many people thought that I was going to win. There was somebody who was a lot more people thought that was going to win, but I won that election, and I became the mayor a little bit over a year ago. On the first day in office, there were certain promises that I made, and one of the promises that I made is that I would cut my salary. Well, on the first day in office, I cut my salary in half. We got rid of unnecessary perks for high-level county executives, and we asked all county employees to contribute more toward their own benefits. Everyone, including myself, had to share in the sacrifice. But those were just the very first steps. I also successfully championed the largest tax cut in county history. We cut your property taxes last year, this fiscal year, by 12%. And the property tax rate for this year, will go down another 2% to offset growth in property values. Overall, we're saving taxpayers, property owners in Miami-Dade County more than $370 million over 2 years. And that's a relief that I think the residents can use after several years of this tough economy. But simply making cuts isn't and wasn't good enough. As somebody who spent a career in public service, I know that government still has a very important role to play in our community, and that we have to prioritize our public services that we provide. To that end, we made it a point to maintain vital public safety services like police, like fire, Emergency Operations Center that recently kicked into gear as Tropical Storm Isaac threatened us last weekend. And as your fellow Rotarian, Director Ryan will remind you, the Department of Correction plays a critical role as well, and that is also, well funded. We've also made sure that programs for seniors and children receive the funding and budget support that they deserve. Quality of life is important, especially for members of our next generation and for members of our greatest generation. I live in this community too, and just like many of you, I've got grandchildren and elderly parents in my family. I feel passionately that they should have the support of their community and their local government, so those programs are staying put as long as I'm the mayor. On top of getting government spending under control and prioritizing public services, we are also reorganizing Miami-Dade County government. Through the reorganization, we've reduced the number of county departments from 42 down to 25, and we've also eliminated over 1,700 positions. That means better customer service, less red tape, and major cost savings for our taxpayers. In fact, the efficiencies that we obtained through the reorganization will help us save over $80 million this year and next year. And so my goal as mayor is to do everything I can for us to realize the potential of Miami-Dade County to its fullest. And there's no doubt that our community holds tremendous potential, culturally, socially, and economically. Miami has given everyone in this room the opportunity to build successful, productive lives, and we owe it to our next generation to give them the same kinds of opportunity. We have a duty. We actually have an absolute duty to create a better quality of life for the next generation. And we have an absolute duty to give them better opportunities to live, work, and play right here in Miami-Dade County. And that's my aim, and it starts with diversifying our economy, fostering job creation efforts, and expanding beyond our usual strengths of tourism, real estate, and banking. And what do we do if we don't diversify? Well, when future economic downturns inevitably occur, we'll be condemned to suffer the same painful economic challenges that our community has been dealing with the last couple of years. Now let me be clear. County government can't create jobs. We do not create jobs or expand or diversify our economy on our own. But there are specific ways that we can help out. First, we have the ability and the obligation to create the right business environment to attract new businesses and new jobs. A government that is competent, transparent, and honest. These are the things that businesses are looking for. And there are any small business. Are there any small businesses in the room today? Okay. Well, let me tell you this. Your interactions with government should be straightforward and painless. When you interact with government, how many people can say that it's straightforward and painless? Well, not too many people are putting up their hands, okay? Whether you're trying to get permits, expand your business, or open a new one, our role as government is to make sure that you, the job creators, play by the rules and do things the right way. But it's not our role to regulate people to death and prevent the private sector from growing and creating new jobs. I won't stand for that as the mayor. The second way that county government can help diversify our economic base and grow jobs is pretty simple. As the mayor, I have to be a salesperson. I have to be the promoter of Miami-Dade County. And I've got to go out and sell Miami-Dade County to businesses and in industries that are interested in setting up shop right here in Miami-Dade County. We need to attract the life sciences, the IT sector, green technology companies, and all the forward-thinking businesses that will drive the global economy in the future. And it's really not a hard sell. I mentioned a few moments ago that Miami already holds a tremendous promise, and here's why. To start with, we've got a diverse, multilingual workforce. We've also got incredible public and private universities and the dynamic research facilities that come with them. And we also live in a beautiful, beautiful place. Where else in America can you find a major city that's sandwiched between two national parks? And we have first-rate transportation hubs too. The airport and the seaport effectively link us to the rest of the world and give us huge competitive advantages when it comes to trade, travel, and commerce. And we're making significant investments in those two economic generators. In fact, the airport and the seaport are the number one and the number two economic generators here in Miami-Dade County. And we have spent billions of dollars at the airport creating a brand new airport. And you're seeing additional flights come to that airport every day. We now are the number one international airport in the United States. We are now the number one international cargo airport in the United States. At the Port of Miami, right now, right there, you're seeing a $1 billion tunnel project that will directly link the Port of Miami to the interstate system. You no longer have to come and travel through the streets of downtown Miami, which, by the way, was hindering economic development in downtown Miami. And so we needed that port tunnel to get that traffic out and also have easier access to the port. We are relinking the port to the rail system. And we're also starting a deep dredge. We're taking the port down to 50 feet. And why is that important? Because once the Panama Canal expansion is done in 2015, we'll be able to accept the super cargo ships that will now be able to use the Panama Canal and bring their goods directly here to Miami. Miami, in fact, is the closest port in the United States to the Panama Canal. And we will be one of only 3 ports in the entire eastern seaboard to be able to go down to 50 feet and be able to accept those ships. We think that we can double the capacity, the cargo capacity of the Port of Miami. That means thousands of new additional jobs that are either directly linked or indirectly linked to the Port of Miami. Each one of those jobs carries an average salary of $50,000 a year. That's a good paying job. And so, those are the things that we're doing here at Miami-Dade County to start diversifying our economy and also taking advantage of our advantages here in Miami-Dade County. And so, I believe truly in my heart that we're building the next great city of the next century. And Miami, I believe, will be one of the truly great global cities of the 21st century. And hopefully, each one of you will be a part of that lasting legacy for our community's next generation. And I'm confident that you will be. As your mayor, you can count on me to continue putting public service above self. And you can count on me to redouble my efforts over the next 4 years and to do all in my power to make our community the best it can possibly be. And thank all of you for taking your time to listen to me today and for giving me such a great lunch. Actually, it was pretty good. And also for all of you that voted, whether you voted for me or not, thank you again for voting on August 14th. If you did it by absentee or early voting on August 14th. One of the things that I do want to do is increase the participation of our citizens in the process. We had a little bit over 20% participation. in this particular election. And when you really think about it, we're probably going to have 60, 70, 80% participation in November for the presidential election. And that's very important to our country. But, in fact, local officials have more of an impact on your life every day than the President of the United States or the governor. All right? We pick up your garbage. We answer your call for 9/11. We also, as I said, we're the ones that are maintaining the airport and the seaport. When you combine those two, there's probably 600,000 jobs that are either directly or indirectly linked to those two facilities. We're also in charge of maintaining your roads, maintaining the parks, and keeping you safe. And when you are seriously injured, you go to Jackson Memorial Hospital, which also happens to be a county facility. So we actually affect your life much more directly on a day-to-day basis than either the governor or the president. And yet, a lot of people don't know who their mayor is, don't know who their representatives are, and don't even take the time to vote. So for those of you that voted this last time, I want to thank you, and I appreciate it. And I want to thank you again for listening to me, and I'll be happy to take a couple of questions for the next 5 minutes or so. Thank you very much. Questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, is the city of Miami romancing legalized gambling?
Is the city of Miami romancing? Or how do you do that? I mean, last year there was a push by a group called Genting. They bought a ton of property here. They bought the Herald building for about $300 million, and they also bought the old Omni for about $150 million. And so they have put a ton of money, and yes, they tried to get a referendum or a law put into place that would allow them to establish a casino, a destination casino here in Miami-Dade County. And as mayor, I met with them. I also met with Steve Wynn and also Mr. Adelson from the Sands, and they're very interested in doing that. My position is this. I certainly don't want Miami to be Las Vegas. I've got to take a look at what destination gaming means, and it appears that destination gaming, when you go to Malaysia or you go to Singapore and you go to the Genting resort, it's actually a resort. And you have to actually look for where the casino is. It's not in your face kind of stuff. Whatever comes out of the legislature, we have to have local control. And we also have to make sure that whatever comes out of them, that we have a referendum here in Miami-Dade County, that the people of Miami-Dade County decide whether they want it or not. Okay? And if they do want it, then we have to have it in the right way. And if they don't want it, then the question is moot. So are they schmoozing? Are they this? Yeah, they probably are. They're not going to give up on this particular destination. And when I talked about diversifying the economy, and when I talked about being a salesperson, and when I talked about it not being a hard sell, it's not a hard sell. A lot of people that are here don't see what people that are not here see. Our potential, that we are the gateway to the Americas, the incredible workforce that we have, the diversity that we have. And Adrienne Arch said it best, not too long ago when she was being honored. And people asked her, "Hey, Adrienne, why do you spend so much time in Miami? Why do you live?" She doesn't live here anymore, but she may be starting to come back to us. What is it about Miami? And she put it succinctly. She said, "Well, Miami is the future today." And really think about it. Miami is the future today. This is what America is going to look like, in the not too distant future. And so geographically, we're in a great place. Demographically, we're in a great place. And so there are people with a lot of money that see the potential of Miami that want to invest it. Some of those people happen to be in the gaming industry. But I certainly do not want to see Las Vegas here in Miami. If it does come, and by the way, we have a lot of gaming already here in Miami. If it does come, I want to see something which is much higher, upper scale, something that attracts new people here, and that's something that's not in your face, something you have to look for. Something like Monte Carlo, where the casino in Monte Carlo does, it's there. When you walk in the doors of the casino in Monte Carlo, you're not in the casino. You actually have to walk through another set of doors, and you have to be properly dressed, and they ask for your ID and all that. So that was different, and it was very upscale. But that also has the ability to attract a new tourism to Miami-Dade. One thing which I think is actually absolutely necessary is a new convention center, or at least a totally updated convention center. We are a first-rate city with a fourth-rate convention center, and we're losing hundreds of millions of dollars in business because we don't have a first-rate convention center. Yes?
Mayor, thinking about the future, one of the great things that has happened recently is the connection of our transit system to the airport.
Yes.
What about the connection of our transit system to the northern border all the way to Aventura?
The connection to Aventura could actually be done by the private sector. It appears that there is very serious discussion and very serious plans being made by what used to be the FEC to start a rail line that will begin with West Palm Beach, Lauderdale, and then end up here at the government center. That's not a commuter rail, that's actually something else, all right? But when those tracks are double tracked and when they are upgraded to passenger level grade, then we will be able to talk to Tri-Rail and have them slide over and then start a commuter rail service down that spine, down Aventura. That is something which is very big on my radar. We need a big park and ride in Aventura and other places. And if we can get that done, that would be great, because then it doesn't have to come from the public coffers. There will be support for Tri-Rail that comes from us, but not to the extent that we would have to build that line ourselves. If we had to build that line ourselves, you're talking a couple $1 billion, all right? There are other places that we want to connect to. And part of one of the things that I want to do as mayor is expand the system, but also expand the system knowing the parameters. We have very tight financial parameters. And we also have to prove to the people that we're actually operating an efficient system. Because if we ever come back to them and say, look, in order for us to expand, we need this, this, and that, they have to have confidence in us that we're gonna do what we say. And it's very important for me that we keep our word all the time as government. Somebody here had their hand up. Yes.
The quality of my life has amazingly gone up because I can now take the train to the airport.
Yes, well, that's great. And so, for those that didn't hear the question, we recently opened the only new expansion of Metro Rail in the last 30 years, or 28 years, which is the connection to the airport. So now you can take Metro Rail to the airport. Actually, it leaves you off in the MIC, and then you can take the MIA Mover into the airport. So it was very important for us to do that because, again, it's our leading economic generator. And we have so many people working there. Now they can take the train and take advantage of it. Yes, sir. Last question.
Is the burn notice going to board the convention center?
The what?
Burn notice.
Burn notice. Burn notice is at the Coconut Grove Convention Center, which is controlled by the City of Miami. Now, I don't know what they're going to do, but I have sent a letter to Burn Notice saying that if something happens there, that I'll be happy to work with them to find them an alternate location, because I think movie production, TV production, that's a great industry to have here in Miami-Dade County, and we need more of it, not less of it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Those of you that know me will understand that this is a very sincere statement. Your Honor, I actually understand you, and I think you're a politician we can believe in. I never thought I'd get to say that. It's a beautiful thing. In honor of your taking time from your very busy schedule, we would like to give you this certificate of appreciation. And we're also going to donate dictionaries to a third grade class in Dade County in your honor. And here is a framed Rotary Club of Miami four-way test. We hope you'll hang that up on your office. We have a super duper special Rotary Club of Miami pin. We have a four-way test that you can impress those around you. And last but not least, we have this is our slogan for this year, Peace Through Service. Thank you very much. Thank you. You hear that? He says he's going to hang that up in his office. That's the secret plan, isn't it?